Hi everyone, so we're going to continue on here with our circulatory system. So at this point we've gone completely through our cardiovascular system. We've talked about how that blood moves through our systems, how we exchange oxygen in our bodies. Now let's talk a little bit more about how we get that oxygen in the first place. So the respiratory system is going to be the system that is going to do that for us. So first let's talk about some different functions of this system. So first function here is going to be allow you to talk and smell. It also brings air to body temperature and helps moisturize it to the humidity level your body needs. So again, that's going to be pretty important, keeping your body moisturized and moist throughout your air passageways. We're also going to see that it's going to deliver oxygen to the cells to cells, so you can bring it into your body through that cardiovascular or the circulatory system. It's also going to remove wastes and gases like carbon dioxide when you exhale. And then ultimately, you're also going to see some protection of your airway from harmful substances and irritants. So what's going to help with that is going to be our cilia and our hairs and mucus that occur in our lungs that help keep things moving very smoothly. Though again, sometimes too much mucus can be bad. So everything has to be in homeostasis for everything to function correctly. So let's talk about some of these structures that take part within the respiratory system. So first we're going to start with the structures that are outside of the lung. This is going to include our mouth and our nose. So these are openings that pull air from the outside of your body to the respiratory system. Usually we're going to see the nose be used more, but also our mouth can obviously bring air into our system as well. Our sinuses are next. These are going to be those hollow areas between the bones of your skull that help regulate temperature and humidity. So that's where we're going to see that part of our function here, bringing that air to body temperature. Our next part is our pharynx, or our throat. This tube is going to deliver that air from your mouth and nose to the trachea, which is what we would call our windpipe. So our trachea is going to be that passageway that's going to start connecting your throat to your lungs. And then those bronchial tubes are going to be, you're going to see that division to the left and right lung here, connecting to each lung. So all these structures are on the outside of our lung. You can see here I'm also following the movement of air from the outside in. So let's talk more about the inner structures. First and foremost, what are the lungs? Lungs are two organs that remove oxygen from the air and pass it to your blood. So following those structures now into our lungs, our bronchi are going to carry the air the rest of the way into the lungs. Then we're going to see our bronchioles, our branches that are going to form tiny air sacs called alveoli. And that alveoli are those tiny air sacs, and that's where that oxygen and carbon dioxide are going to be exchanged within our body. So I really want you to notice that I started from the outside and went in, but when we exhale, we're going to start from the inside and go out. So it's a back and forth process. So we either are starting with our inhale, we go to our nose or mouth, bring that air in, down through our sinuses, into our pharynx, into our trachea, that bring it into our bronchial tubes, into each of our lungs. Our bronchi are going to take it the rest of the way. Those are larger branches, where our bronchioles are now smaller branches within our lung that bring us all the way to the alveoli. That oxygen and carbon dioxide are going to be exchanged, and then we're going to breathe out, and the opposite is going to happen here. I do want to encourage you here to take a look at this YouTube video. I think it explains it really well, and you get to take a look at the functions of each of these structures here. So again, let's take a look at what these different structures look like. We're going to start here in our nasal cavity or our oral cavity. So you can see here they're both connected in the back of our mouth, which is where we see our pharynx. And then you also see this structure called your larynx. I do want you to write this one down. So our larynx is our voice box. So this is where we're going to see the talking come into place here. So as that air passes through our larynx, we are going to be able to create noises. So you can actually feel your larynx if you touch your throat. For men, it's easier to feel. It's your Adam's apple, that is your larynx. For women, it's a little bit harder, but if you just touch your hand to your throat as you're speaking, you're going to feel a vibration, and that's going to be your vocal cords in your larynx actually vibrating to make noise, to make sound here. So that's one term I do want you to add. But again, from the pharynx, we go through the larynx to our trachea. Then we can see our bronchial tubes going into each lung. These large branches here are going to be the bronchi. And then we can see these little branches that are coming off the bronchi. That is going to be our bronchioles. And then finally, from our bronchioles, we see our alveoli. And again, if we take a look here, our pulmonary artery is bringing deoxygenated blood. We're going to see a gas transfer here. So oxygen that's inside the alveoli is going to come out and go to our capillaries here. And then carbon dioxide that is in the blood is going to go into the alveoli. And then the pulmonary vein is going to bring that oxygenated blood back up to the heart. So again, all of these systems are very interconnected. So we know that the oxygen transfer does happen in these nice capillaries, both in the lungs on our alveoli and in our body systems too. So again, starting from inhalation, we can start here in our nasal cavity or our oral cavity. We're going to travel through the pharynx, go down into the trachea, break off into our bronchial tubes that go to the left and right lungs, to our bronchioles, which are these nice big branches, to our bronchioli, which are the little branches, finally to our alveoli. We're going to see that gas exchange occur in the capillaries that are attached. And then now we have our alveoli filled with carbon dioxide. So now the opposite is going to happen. As we exhale, we're going to see that carbon dioxide is going back through the alveoli to the bronchioles, to the bronchi, the large branches, to the bronchial tubes, up through the trachea, to the pharynx, and you're going to exhale either through your nose or your mouth. So that's just the movement of air and how all of those different structures are going to come together. Next time we are going to talk about what makes us exhale and what makes us inhale. So if you have any questions on these terms, please let me know.